Let me tell you why I'm still riding with Joe Biden after watching that first debate, and how for the last week or so, everybody has been talking about him dropping out of the race, getting somebody else to take his place or whatever. Let me tell you why I'm still riding with him. Do you remember the video that Michael Jordan made a couple of years ago?
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
That commercial was called the failure commercial. All we can think about when we see Michael Jordan and hear the name Michael Jordan is his successes. Well, he did a video showing you all of his failure. And what he was trying to tell you was, in spite of my failures, I succeed. Without my failures, I would not be successful. Let's take a trip down memory lane of Joe Biden's failures. This is a picture of Joe Biden's first family. Yes, his first family. The picture that you see Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, Bo Biden, his daughter Naomi Biden, and his wife Nelia Biden. Well, why don't you see them anymore? Because Nelia and Naomi died tragically in an accident in 1972 on their way to get a Christmas tree. And Hunter and Bo were seriously injured in that accident. Now, Biden had some stuff to contend with other than the fact that he had a daughter that was passed away, a wife that was passed away, and 2 kids that were critically injured in that same accident. He still had to decide whether or not he was going to take his turn in the Senate because, in 1972, he won his Senate seat to be the youngest senator ever to win a seat in the Senate. He won that race. So he wanted to drop out of the race. And people told him, no, stay in. So you know what he did? He took his swearing in at the hospital with his children. Picture right here. By the 80s, Joe was feeling a little ambitious, so he tried to run for president. He lost in the primaries. He didn't even make it to the nomination. He lost in 1984. He lost again in 1988. And then he lost again in 2008, coming in like 7th or 8th place. He was losing the primaries so much that I guess they took pity on the man and put him on Barack Obama's ticket in 2008 to make him the VP because they figured, hell, that's the closest he gonna get to the White House. Served 8 years as the vice president and didn't give you no flack. And then he decided to step back for Hillary Clinton to let her run instead of him running after Barack Obama left. And we know that when the president leaves and the vice president wants to run, the vice president will step up and try to continue the legacy. He took a step back to allow Hillary to do it. Do you want to know what else was going on with Joe Biden in 2015? In 2015, Joseph Robinette Biden III, Bo, tragically passed away from a brain tumor. He also served in our armed forces defending this nation. Can any one of Donald Trump's kids say they ever served this country like Bo Biden? So Joe had to go through that, another failure in his life. Back to the elections and Hillary Clinton. Hillary got a little arrogant and couldn't close the deal, so he stepped in, and finally, after the 4th time of running, he made it to the White House as the president. And because the GOP and MAGA hate Joe Biden and the Democrats so bad, they tried to go through his son Hunter to get to him. But guess what else was Joe was going through while he was trying to get us out of the muck that the Republican Party and Donald Trump put us through? He had to deal with a son who was addicted to cocaine and going through that trauma. And then he had to watch his son as president get convicted of felonies and have to go to jail. And even though as a father myself, I will pardon my son, but to make sure that it's fair and everybody is equal under the law, Joe Biden promised that he would not pardon or commune Hunter Biden's sentence. Even though he got to deal with these tragedies, he's still going to let his son, I would say, screw the country. I'm pardoning my son. But Joe Biden wouldn't for the country. And yeah, Joe Biden now is 150 years old. We knew he was 125 when he ran. And he knew he was 125 when he ran. But he still ran and he still won. Despite everybody saying Joe was stuck in his basement. Joe was hiding in his basement. Joe couldn't do it. Joe couldn't do this. Joe couldn't do that. And over the last 125 years of Joe Biden's life, Joe Biden was in a prime position to take over from a Donald John Trump who added $1.9 trillion in tax cuts to give to the rich. And he added $8 trillion to the national debt in 4 years. Barack Obama did a portion of that in 8 years. But no, we brought old Joe Biden out, dust off his knees, and made sure that this man can sit up properly so he can get us out of the mess that the Republicans put us through. And guess what? Joe Biden did it. And now the man, and we knew the man had a stuttering problem when he was 86. Now the man 115. We know Joe Biden got that problem, and yet we still look at one goddamn debate after all that man has gone through in his life, and after all the countless failures that this man has gone through and life has put him through, and you want to take one 90-minute time. Do you know that man is a year old for every minute at that debate? I know I keep changing that man's age, but but I'm saying you cannot take a man like Joe Biden, who's 176 years old, and say after one debate that we're going to give up on him. No, we're going to double down on Joe Biden. And if we lose this election, we lose this election. But we're not going to give up on Joe Biden, and we're going to come back stronger and better on the next time around. And let's just say, for the sake of saying, if Joe Biden just happens to lose this election and you get Donald Trump and Project 2025 in there, I guarantee you when the next president come around, you won't vote for another Republican. That's even if Donald Trump ever want to leave office, because he might not want to leave. What do you think?